Examiner, I'll be entering and exiting my vehicle at all times with 3 points of contact. First thing I'm going to check is my seat belt. It's not worn, torn, or frayed. It's properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, bent, or broken. It properly latches and unlatches. Examiner, when you're ready, if you would test your seat belt out, make sure it properly latches and unlatches. All right, in my box back here, I have my safety equipment. I have my 3 red reflective triangles, properly mounted and secured. I have my ABC fire extinguisher, properly mounted and secured, fully inspected with the pin in the handle. Okay. In this side door here, I have my spare fuses. All right, next thing we're gonna do, I should say, is we're going to do the brake test. So my ABS light came on, all my warning lights came on, they all went off. Okay, now I'm gonna do a safe start. Truck's in neutral. I'm gonna press in my clutch, start the truck, and we're going to build our air pressure up between 120 and 140 and wait for our air governor check valve to sound. I'm going to crack my windows a little to make sure the examiner can hear the air governor check valve. So we'll rev it up to about 1100 RPM. Moment of silence. If you choose to, you can go ahead and do some of your in-cab while you're doing this. You can talk about your mirrors, properly adjusted to me. See down both sides of my trailer. They're not cracked or broken, and they're free of illegal stickers which should obstruct my view. Windows and windshield, not cracked or broken, free of illegal stickers which would obstruct my view. Windshield wipers, properly working. Arms, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and the blades are not worn, torn, or frayed. Windshield washer fluids cleaning the windshield, so it's properly working. Okay, examiner, my air governor check valve just sounded, so we're going to start the applied pressure test. I'm going to shut my truck off, put it in neutral, release my brakes, wait 10 to 15 seconds to let my air stabilize. Sound right. Okay, now I'm going to do my applied pressure test. I should not lose more than 4 psi in a 60-second time frame. Examiner, will you please time this?
Start. Stop.
Okay, examiner, I did not lose more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. Now I'm going to feather my brakes, wait for my light and alarm to sound at 55 psi. PSI. Now I'm going to continue to feather my brakes until my emergency knobs pop out, and that should happen between 20 and 45 PSI. Both my knobs popped out, so that's all working well. Examiner, may I get out and remove my chocks to do the next test? Okay. You'll get out and remove your chocks. You'll get back in the vehicle. You'll do a safe start. Truck's in neutral. Push in the clutch. Safe start. And we're going to rev our engine about 1,000 to 1,100. Wait for our air governor check valve to sound between 120 and 140 PSI. Do the rest of my in-cab. Lights up here, and as you've seen before, we already did our ABS light, so we're going to do our left directional. It came on, so it's working. Right directional, it came on, so it's working. Four-way flashers, they come on, so they're working. My bright light indicator came on, so it's working. City horn, it works. Air horn, it works. Okay. My defroster, turn it over. Blowing from the top, blowing from the floor, so it's properly working. Okay. My gear shift is properly mounted, secured. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. The splitter properly works. It's a synchronized transmission, so we'll be floating gears today. Sounded, so now I'm going to do my tug test for you. I'm going to start with my trailer, so I'm going to release my tractor brake, put it in low gear, tug against my trailer. It held. Okay. Now I'm going to test my tractor brake, so I'm going to set my tractor brake, release my trailer brake, put it in low gear. Tractor brake's held. Now I'm going to do my service brake test. I'm going to get up to 5 miles an hour, hit my brakes, hold my steering wheel lightly, make sure that it doesn't go right to left. If it does, that means there's some kind of brake adjustment that needs to happen. Okay. Brakes work, they're good. Now I'm going to back under where I was. I'm going to let the examiner know that includes the brake test and in-cab portion of my pre-trip inspection. We're going to start with the exterior portion of our pre-trip, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to look under my truck and make sure that there's no leaks. nothing hanging like wires or metal. It all looks good. And then I'm going to talk about the leaning. There's no leaning from side to side, which would indicate a suspension problem, a shift in my load, or a low tire. Okay. My clearance lights, properly mounted, secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They're the proper color amber. There's no fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak. Okay. My headlights, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak, and it's the proper color clear. My fog lamps are properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. They're the proper color clear. There's no fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak. All right. Our radiator reservoir, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of visible leaks, and is filled to manufacturer specifications. Lid's on tight, it's on proper. Hoses going to and from, properly mounted, secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of visible leaks. Dipstick, properly mounted, secured. Okay, this is where I check my oil, so I would pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, pull it back out, and make sure that I'm within the hashtags. Okay. Power steering reservoir, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of visible leaks, filled to manufacturer specifications. Lids on tight, on proper. Hoses running to and from, properly mounted, secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of visible leaks. Okay. All right, steering, gearbox, properly mounted, secured to my frame, not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of visible leaks. Hoses running to and from, properly mounted, secured at both ends. No signs of visible leaks, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts on that. Steering column is properly mounted, secured at both ends, properly lubricated, and I have no more than 10 degrees of play. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Okay. Now we're going to go down here to the leaf spring hanger, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no signs of illegal welds. Leaf springs themselves, properly mounted, secured at both ends. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no signs of illegal welds. U-bolts are on, they're on tight, on properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My bump stop, properly mounted, secured, it's not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of illegal welds on that. My shock absorber, properly mounted, secured at both ends, not cracked, bent, or broken. This is hydraulic, there's no signs of visible leaks. 3-piece steering linkage, properly mounted, secured with these castle nuts and cotter pins. It's not cracked, bent, or broken anywhere, properly lubricated. My airline is properly mounted, secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of audible leaks. My ABS wire is properly mounted, secured, not worn, torn, or frayed. Brake pads, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and I have more than a 1/4 inch of pad on there. Now to my rim. My rim is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken anywhere, and no signs of illegal welds. Okay. My tire, on the inside, top, and outside, there's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. It's properly beaded to the rim, properly seated to the rim, and there's no signs of audible leaks on that. Okay. I have more than 4/32 inch of tread. Okay. I would check that with a tire depth gauge, and these are virgin radial tires. Outside rim, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no signs of illegal welds. Lug nuts properly tightened, they're not loose. If they were loose in any way, there would be shiny metal or rust streaks. Hub seal, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no signs of any visible leaks. Okay, it is filled to manufacturer specifications. My rubber on here, it's not worn, torn, or frayed anyway, or abrasion, bulges, or cuts. If there was, I would just take that off and replace it. All right, my valve stem is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. The lid is on proper, no signs of audible leaks. I would check that with a tire gauge and make sure that I have more than 100 PSI in my tires. Overall view of the side of my truck, no damage, it's good. Okay, my mirror brackets are properly mounted, secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. side marker lamp, properly mounted secured. It's the proper color amber. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. And there's no signs of moisture or fogging, which would indicate a crack or leak. My steps are properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of illegal welds anywhere. This is also my battery box. I would check my batteries by removing this, making sure that my cables are not worn, torn, or frayed, and making sure that my that I'm free of any battery acid leaks. Okay. Def tank properly mounted secured. It's not cracked, bent, or broken anywhere. No signs of visible leaks. My lid, my cap is on tight and on proper. Got my safety cord on here. Hoses running to and from, properly mounted secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of visible leaks anywhere. My fuel tank is properly mounted secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My tank straps are properly mounted secured. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts in the rubber, so it's good. No signs of visible leaks anywhere. My cap is on tight, it's all good. My safety chain, it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Okay, it's present. My rubber seal is good. It's not worn, torn, or frayed. If it was, I would just take it out and replace it. Okay. The hoses running to and from my fuel tank, properly mounted secured at both ends. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and there's no signs of visible leaks. Okay. Moving right along. Frame of my truck is not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of illegal holes or welds. My cross members, properly mounted secured, not missing any hardware, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no signs of illegal welds anywhere. Okay. My electrical line is properly mounted secured at both ends. Okay, I would check this by removing this, checking the pins inside, making sure they're not bent or broken, making sure it's free of debris. Place it back on there and make sure that my DOT latch is on the other side of my electrical latch. Okay. Electrical line is not worn, torn, or frayed anywhere. Glad hands, properly mounted secured. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. I would check the seals in here by removing them, checking the inside of the seals, making sure they're not worn, torn, or frayed. If they are, I'm just gonna replace them, put it back on. This is my emergency line. This is my service line. They're properly mounted secured at both ends. Okay, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of audible leaks anywhere. Okay. I have proper clearance from my catwalk to the top of, or to the bottom of my lines. My air actuator line, properly mounted, secured at both ends. It's not worn, torn, or frayed anywhere. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and no signs of audible leaks. Air actuator is not cracked, bent, or broken. It's properly mounted, secured at both ends, and no signs of audible leaks. Okay. Trailer apron, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No signs of illegal welds. My fifth wheel plate is properly lubricated. There's no daylight between my trailer apron and my fifth wheel plate, which would mean that I'm coupled up wrong. Okay. My release handle, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It is in the lock position. Okay. Pivot pin, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's held in with that cotter key. Okay. This is a sliding fifth wheel. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured, not missing any hardware. Okay, and it's locked in with these two pins right here, these two locking pins. Okay. Now you'll get up under the trailer and you're going to talk about your kingpin. It's properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, free of illegal welds. My fifth wheel locking jaws are properly locked around the kingpin. They're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. Okay, we'll get back out. And we're going to talk about the clearance from the back of the truck to the landing gear. There should be at least 3 feet clearance between them. So you'll tell them I have proper clearance between the back of my truck to my landing gear within 3 feet. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the trailer itself. The bed of my trailer is free of debris. There's nothing on there. It's good. It's clean. No damage. I have 50% DOT tape down the side of my trailer. It's not worn, torn, or frayed. My side marker lamps on my trailer are the proper color amber. They're properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And there's no signs of any moisture or fogging, which would indicate a crack or a leak. Okay. My landing gear itself is in the proper raised position, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken anywhere. My handle for my landing gear is on the other side of the trailer. It's properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's in the proper cradle position. Okay. Frame of my trailer, not cracked, bent, or broken, no signs of illegal holes or welds. Cross members in my trailer, right in here, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no signs of illegal welds. Okay. You can talk about your ABS light. ABS light, not cracked, bent, or broken, proper color amber, properly mounted, secured, and there's no fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak. I do have one red side marker lamp, properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no signs of fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak. Across the back of my trailer, I have 100% DOT tape. Okay, it's not worn, torn, or frayed. Looks good. My tail lamps, properly mounted, secured. They're the proper color red. None of them are cracked, bent, or broken. And there's no fogging or moisture, which would indicate a crack or a leak. Examiner, I will do the same thing down this side, the passenger side of my truck. Remember, you're only doing one side of your truck. That's the driver's side. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel, Driven to Success Academy. This is Casey Upton, Pampa, Texas. And be sure and like and subscribe.